And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Thursday, January 21st. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Well, we've got that rainy. We're glad to have you with us. And, of course, Thursdays we talk about Bates Ford. 1673 West Main in Lebanon, the dealer that'll trade for anything you don't eat. We usually have, and we do have today, Paul Tubbs and Ronnie Kelly. It's good to see you both. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ronnie.
Good morning.
All right. Well, what do you do on a rainy day?
I fix cars, change oil, sell cars. We got a lot of things going on there. Well, I tell you something kind of crazy. We got the Bronco order. Everybody's been so excited over these new Broncos. Yesterday, they started letting us order them. So there's limited access on accessories and certain things, but everybody's all ramped up waiting on that Bronco to come out. So we've actually been able to start trying to order them. Hopefully they'll be here by late spring, early summer.
Well, if something is that popular, why does it take so long? I mean, this is not a contrived thing, is it?
I wish you could. I've asked that question a million times to everybody at Ford. It's kind of it's been a real how it's been handled. I've never seen Ford handle something like that, where you reserve it and then you come and you pick it out, and then generally they would put 50 on the lot or whatever, and we would sell them. We're not even going to get any for our lot until next year. So 2022 is the first time we'll have one on our lot that's actually available for retail sale. All the ones that we've got at the present time is just going to be ones that actually people ordered, and that we feel we will have one that Ford's sending us that will be a demo, meaning people can come test drive it, and then if they want one, they would order it. But
that's a little bit out of the usual. But for whatever reason, I won't argue with them.
I won't either. I guess they know more than I do, because I've asked them the same question 100 times over.
Ron, are you excited about this?
Yeah, very excited about the new Bronco. As a matter of fact, I had people come in yesterday, look at the one that we already have, and there's several people that like them. And they want them, and some people want to. We don't have the big one yet, so like Paul said, it may be a while before it come out. But we get a lot of traffic on the ones we got in right now.
Well, what's tell us a little bit about the Bronco.
Well, on the Bronco, it was out a long time ago,
right?
And now it coming back, and it used to be the Bronco 2. So that Bronco, you got a sports Bronco, the Big Bend, and that Bronco is very popular. And it's off road. You can go off road, do a lot of things. You can, a lot of young people like that type of vehicle for sports. And what we have to do on the Bronco, like everybody that's coming in, young and old, want to see it. And they say, hey, I really like that style. So, but a lot of people are waiting on the big one to come out.
Right.
I think Ford's seen the market, that Jeep's been very successful in their market. And I mean, if you look on the roads, and Ford's seen, and I went to a meeting, it's probably been 3 or 4 years ago, where Ford said, hey, we're coming after that market, because if you look at the Jeep has been and they've done a great job with the Jeep, and, you see a lot of them on the road, and Ford said, hey, we're missing out on that opportunity. So, they said, what can we do to go? And that Bronco was something years back where they had that was similar. So they've decided, we've actually got one on the lot right now that's a Bronco Sport, that's a smaller. It's kind of opposed to the years ago. You remember the Bronco and the Bronco 2. Right. So the Sport's the smaller version. We've actually got one we got one in our loaner program that we have to keep in there through Ford's policies, and we've also got another one that's for sale. So we actually have a Bronco Sport for sale. As far as the big Bronco, it's going to be a timely process that we're going to have to be patient with.
All right. Well, you still got the cheapest oil change in town.
Yes, sir. $24.95 up to 5 quarts. Do the inspection. Don't just whip oil, filter on it. We make sure that we give you a good quality look your brakes, batteries, tires, trying to give you a good report on that.
Paul, that works really well, not only for the customer, but for you, or not only for you, but the customer. You will probably find something that needs to be changed or fixed, and sometimes it needs to be immediate. Sometimes you can wait a while, but at least you get to point that out, and maybe you get a little extra for doing that. And how many people, even if they change their own oil, don't do all these other inspections and miss something like that?
And I hold my people accountable for that, and then that's what we want to make sure that we're doing a quality inspection. We give you a report card, and it's kind of like a traffic light. It's red. If red's immediate, you need to get it fixed right away. Yellow would be you need future attention, and green's good to go. So I hold my people accountable, making sure that they do that inspection report and look at your brakes, look at your tires, look at your battery, look at your hoses. We test your battery every time. We'll give you a brake measurement. We'll give you the tire tread depth. We try to look it all over and make sure that, one, the vehicle's roadworthy, and if there is something that needs immediate attention, that we'll give it to you. Hey, here's what you need to do today. And if it's future attention, hey, you might need some tires. You probably got a couple oil changes left, but you're going to need some tires down the road. So we try to make sure that we do that and go thoroughly over the vehicle and make sure it's a quality inspection.
And you do all that for $24.95 plus tax.
That's it. Can't beat that, huh?
And you mentioned batteries and tires, and of course we want everybody to know you sell them too.
Yeah, Ford's really competitive on tires. Like I always say, they'll meet or beat anybody's price. We have a lot of customers that really didn't know we were as heavily in the tire market, and they figured out real quick that we could beat most people's prices. Ford will meet or beat anybody's price. So, somebody bring me a tire quote from another place, and I'll go, no, oh, I can't believe y'all. Generally we mount and balance for $40. Most places are $75, $80. So we're cheaper on the mount and balance, but plus we'll beat the price of the tire, and that's generally how we can compete with anybody on tires.
Well, we got just a few seconds left here, but Ronnie, you can have the last word today. I know it's a rainy day, but you'd like to sell a few.
On a rainy day, we'll sell a few cars. We have a lot of construction workers that'll come in and we'll sit down and try to put some deals together. Got a few people coming in today, and just like Paul say, like what he does on the used vehicles, the same thing he do with the customer. He get our used vehicles in. He makes sure that everything is taken care of. If we need tires on it, whatever we need, he repair those vehicles and we'll get them on the lot. And sometimes they're not on the lot because they don't have time to get to them, but they will not put them on the lot until we get them serviced and get them ready to go. So we got number one, A1 vehicles to sell. So we sell a lot of used vehicles, and right now we know that a lot of time income tax time is coming up.
Yeah.
So we need to have a lot of vehicles under $10,000 because a lot of people want to buy a pre-owned vehicle for their kid to go to school. So if you have anything you want to trade and you want to turn into cash, bring it down to Bakes Ford.
That's right, because they are the dealer that'll trade for anything and don't eat.
Yes, sir.
And you prove it, if not every day, every week anyway, right?
Try to.
All right, we'll see y'all next Thursday. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And have a good one. Paul Tubbs, he's the dealer operations manager. Ronnie Kelly in sales at Bates Ford, 1673 West Main, the dealer that'll trade for anything it don't eat. We're 11 minutes after the hour. And I want to welcome Jeff Baines and Regina Santana from the city of Lebanon. I got an email from you, Jeff, last night. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
Telling me that you were going to be here. And good morning to you, Regina. Did you say good morning?
I did.
Well, say it again.
Good morning, Coleman. Happy New Year. I think it's the first time I've seen you this year.
Yeah, have a great January and all that. Well, you even, now I always say this program pretty much is live, spontaneous, and unrehearsed, and we haven't rehearsed any of this except you did mention a couple of things we can talk about this morning. But actually, Mayor Bell yesterday even mentioned, when I got to questioning him a little bit about some of these drainage studies, he said, well, Jeff Baines is going to be there tomorrow. Ask him. And so we're gonna talk about some of that today. But I take it you were pleased with what happened at the city council meeting Tuesday night.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
As far as drainage studies, you want to get us started or let Regina have it?
The only thing I'll say about starting is drainage is something we all deal with, but only a few times a year. Most of the time during this year, it's sunshine and pretty weather, and folks think about drains, but it does rear its head. I heard this morning on the TV talking about 1 or 2 inches of rain this weekend. If it comes down quick and fast, we have some issues sometimes. If it's slow and steady, not such a problem, So we have some areas here in town that as you know, Coleman, we're the bowl inside the bowl, and so we have a lot of low-lying areas, and so they're subject to some flash flooding, especially. So those announcements made about flash flooding, it's talking to you, the folks who are in low-lying areas, you be prepared. So again, things we can do in some of those areas to help. Sometimes you can't solve all the problems. Sometimes you can make it a little bit better, and that's sort of our goal, to solve when we can, make it better when we can. So with that, I could let Regina discuss those 2 or 3 on the agenda last week.
Okay, I think that there's 3 studies that are going to be done. You want to start about the studies?
Sure. So about 3 years ago now, we started, the city adopted a stormwater utility, started a stormwater utility fund. And so people, on their utility bills, there's a fee now that's charged to go
So
towards
that's what
that.
that's for.
That's what it's
Okay.
for. And so it's kind of, and businesses have the same thing. They also get that bill every month. So those funds, we've been collecting them for 3 years now, and it's kind of went into a reserve where we've built up some money that we now have money we can start working on projects with. So we looked at, we get drainage complaints, like Jeff said, 2 or 3 times a year we'll have, you'll get that little flash flood warning on your phone. When that happens, we get out into the field and try to see some of these problems with our own eyes. So it's easier for us to figure out what's going on, what's happening when we can see it happening in real time. So for these areas that we picked to do this initial project with are some of them that have been long-term drainage problem areas for us. Jeff's been with the city for a while, and so have I, and so we kind of know where our problem areas are, where when we have those flash flood events, where we want to go and take a look at. So the areas that we picked, there are actually 4 of them. Only 3 of them have been on city council meetings so far. One of them is the Mulberry Burdock area. The second one is it's Hallcroft subdivision is the name of it, but it's kind of Hartsville Pike to Sam Houston, that area there.
Yeah, that's where
Couple knows that area. Couple knows that area.
So, well, that one, you've got a blue line stream. When they built that subdivision so many years ago, it makes several 90-degree bends, and that's never a good thing. And so anytime you introduce those 90-degree bends, and they basically just rerouted it to follow the property lines, it creates issues. So, and then the third one that was on the agenda is Cumberland Drive over by Cumberland University. That one there is going to be a group project because there's also utility work as far as water and sewer and gas that need to happen on that road also. Once we do this stormwater, the sidewalks out there are also going to get repaired. So it's kind of a almost more of a revitalization project for that road. And then that one, the professional services agreement, which was on the council agenda, also includes a small section of West Spring Street and a little piece of South Greenwood that we have some ponding water issues in our road. So that one had 3 different areas, but still the same general part of town.
Okay.
And then,
I hope we can talk a little bit more about your ideas for repair, fixing, whatever, but we need to take a break right here. So let's do that here. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And at 7:17, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota and Rental Exmark. Large inventory of Exmark mowers for homeowners and commercial users. #1 selling brand. Bought 2-to-1 over any other commercial mower brand. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's still trying to recover a bit, but it's still very, very slow on 24 westbound, coming in from Rutherford County into Davidson County with several accidents there in the Hickory Hollow Parkway area. We're looking at a nasty crash here in Brentwood at 65 going southbound here just past OHB. As you head down the Concord Road, traffic's really backed up as we look at it live. Check out the Andre Chicken Sandwich now available at Prince's Hot Chicken, 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
We don't have a problem. Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Enjoying my guests this morning, and but back to you, Regina. You're going to do some studies, and I mean this is kind of a preliminary. We're just getting started here to address the situation, as I understand. Is
correct.
that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So who's doing this, and how long is it going to take, and when will you find out maybe the possibility of what can be done?
so we have 3 different engineering teams that we selected to do those 3 project areas. Instead of just choosing one and giving them all of them, we split them up in the spirit of hoping it would be quicker for each of them to get information to us. So right now what they're doing, the first part of this, they're going to do survey work. They're going to do the drainage study, which is looking at the quantity and the movement of the water through those areas. And then they're going to come up with some concept plans. And at that point, they're going to come back to us and we're going to discuss what it is they can do. What can we fix, or what can we maybe help make better? You know, if there's not a good fix, because we are constrained with the existing houses and the roads where they are. It's not going to be a perfect world, most likely, but we think there are some things that we can do to help for sure.
Okay, now you talked about the money. I'm thinking I pay $1.50, I believe, a month on my utility bill. Some people maybe pay $2 or something, but it's a nominal thing. But all this is going into a fund, a savings account, like to
Correct.
Now that'll pay for the study. But what about when it comes time for to do some construction or whatever? Is that going to come out of this too? If we have enough, or how will it be funded?
That's the goal, is for that fund to fund these type of improvements.
Yeah.
So once these studies are done, and each of them are estimating anywhere from 3 to 4 months, because some of the project areas are a little bit bigger. When we go back to the table with them to talk about their concepts and pick what we want them to pursue as far as the final plan goes, we'll have a better idea at that time what the project scope will look like, how much it might cost, that kind of thing.
Well, I take it that we're doing this kind of in the rainy season, which, I mean, if it was in the dry summertime, the study might be a little bit more difficult. You wouldn't have the water flow to somebody that's not here and accustomed to that, especially. This is the time to do it, isn't it, Jeff?
It is, but truth is the study part could be done any time. You know, it's a numbers game as far as the analysis of the drains and water flow. So it really doesn't matter when we do the study part of it. It's always good to have the information.
That's your bookie?
That's Jerry Snodgrass. What, can you believe it? Jerry Snodgrass, comment him on the radio. We'll score with him later.
What else do we need to talk about on this? I mean, we're just getting started. You maybe have an idea of what may come, but really that's what the study is for, to be as sure as possible before you get started, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So what else do we need to talk about this morning?
Well, I want you to mention, you mentioned one of those also important and stuff is, it's called funding. It takes money. That stuff is free. And, historically, the stormwater fee came aboard. And stormwater fee does also cover our TDEC EPA requirements for water quality issues. So, I mean, folks, you pay that fee, it's not just for that water quantity issues, for the water quality issues too, that, once again, we're mandated as a city to have those programs in place. It's not an option for the city council or the mayor. It's required. So that dollar you pay, Coleman, first has to fund that EPA TDEC requirement. Beyond that, you mentioned bits of some funds here to do some projects here. So, and I think we can do 2 or 3 good things through this time. But otherwise, it's general fund money.
Yeah.
And historically, until the last 30 years, any drains work got no general fund money. So it competed with everything else, roads and roads and police, fire, streets. That competed with that dollar. It's hard to. That money is, hard to come by.
Right. Well, let me ask one other question about the fund here. Has it pretty much been untouched, or has it been being used a little bit, sparingly, or at all till now?
Well, it's used every day for the stormwater quality part.
All right. Okay.
It's paying. I think there's 3 people in that program, and their operational costs, you might say.
Okay.
Haven't really done any kind of capital expenditures, but built up enough now we can take some of that money and work it. Help try to solve some problems here and there too.
Okay, as far as communicating with the citizens regarding the drainage issues and the concerns, I guess you've been hearing about this from time to time. Every time we have a big rain, somebody calls, and so you are much aware of this. Are the citizens aware of your concerns?
I think so, and I also think some point, and this goes a little further along, there'll be some public type meetings. We'll have a meeting after at St. Peter's School or something. We'll have some meetings later on as we get a little further in that program for those different areas, let people know what's going on. Most of the time, people just need to find out, it's posting on things like on our website, things like that. Of course, council meetings, et cetera. But at some point in time, we'll definitely have meetings in the neighborhoods. There'll be surveyors out there. They'll see the surveyor, so that information will get there pretty quickly. We'll have a public meeting before we start any kind of project, obviously.
Do other municipalities and other cities size of Lebanon or our general size and everything, do they have these same? Do you hear about this from other places, or are we're not alone in this?
We're not alone, but I think ours will be difficult sometimes because we're in this little bowl. So if you're on high ground, as I say all the time, top of these flash flood warnings, if you're on a hill somewhere, they're not talking to you. That low line is who they're speaking with, and they say, we got a 2-inch rain coming, and we expect some flash flooding. Well, if you're along with creeks and streams, they're beautiful most of the time, but our towns and for a few moments can be pretty scary.
Yeah. Well, we all know about the square, and
Sure.
it's just had a traditional flood. I mean, it's traditional that we have a flood every 10 to 15 years.
Right.
It seems like a pretty big one. Is anything being done or talked about now? I know actually in the election, one of the candidates laid out a big plan for solving this. I don't know how good a plan that was, but I mean, people still are concerned about it. But it's been talked about all my life. I've heard people talking about Lebanon flooding, and I know that we've done some, but we've never really solved the problem. I don't guess we can.
And Coleman, this is the engineer guy talking now. Our square sits on top of the creek.
Yeah.
To say you can solve the problem with the square, I won't say that, nor Gina won't say that, because it sits on the creek, So, they looked at dry dam proposal a few months ago, and it's still on the table. We've got another few more months to make a decision on that dry dam issue. But again, it does not eliminate flooding on the square. In fact, it was a significant reduction. So, when I'm looking at benefit cost and recommend mayor and council things to do to help things, if it's going to have a good benefit cost, I don't want to do something that flood the next 6 months flooding. People say, well, just spend $3.25 million for. So I think that money is better used for areas out in neighborhoods where we can really mitigate some issues versus something that, won't necessarily solve a problem. So that's something would be made again here this spring with the mayor and council, but it's still on the table. Right now, we're talking about areas that are in neighborhoods, basically.
Right. All right, we've got about 5 minutes left here. Let's talk about a couple of roadway projects that you're looking at. Are you looking at them, Regina?
She is.
Yep.
We are.
So one of the ones that I'm most excited about that we're finally going to get moving with here soon is Briskin Lane. We've got Legends Drive extension, the roundabout there. It's a 5-lane section, and it passes Canesville Road, and you've got the little narrow 2-lane road that is now from Canesville to Sparta Pike. And so that project is going to widen Briskin Lane to 3 lanes, and it adds a curb and gutter. There's also work on Canesville for turn lanes to get onto the road, and it includes a new signal at Sparta Pike. So Sparta Pike and Briskin Lane intersection will have a signal when this project's complete. So
what about Canesville Road and Briskin Lane or
Legends.
Legends? Yeah.
So this project doesn't have a signal for that intersection, but it is something Kristen Rice, our traffic transportation engineer, I think you met her last month, if I remember right. That one is something she's got on her list to keep an eye out for. So we have to wait until it meets signal warrants or is close to warranting that signal.
But right now, I believe Canesville Road traffic does not stop. You got a stop sign on either side of the intersection for Briskin Lane and Legends Drive.
Correct.
And that'll stay until further notice. Anyway.
Correct.
Okay. What is there? Will that always be Briskin Lane? I mean, would we ever call the whole thing Legends Drive, or has anybody ever thought about that?
Probably haven't thought about much here, I guess, right now. It could change. Obviously, it affects people's address, things like that, but I don't know. I'm not know the history of Briskin Lane, to tell you the truth, Coleman, so if there's some kind of reason to leave it, it can be left, but it could be changed too. You're right, like me. I like those streets are the same name all the way through.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you're coming from.
Yeah, well, there's I'm sure there's arguments on both sides, and if there's some historic significance to Briskin Lane, we don't want to interrupt history too much.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But that's going to be widened, going to be 3 lanes instead of 2, and there'll be more traffic then that'll take advantage of that. I take it.
Hope it'll open up Legends Drive more to some things that happen out there.
Right.
Good interchange with either one.
And then the traffic signal there at Sparta Pike
Right.
will make it easier to negotiate when you come out there, I guess, too. What's the other one?
So one more thing I want to mention on that one. It's where the estimate for that is $2.7 million, and it's a state industrial access road project, and SA is what we normally call them. TDOT's fully funding that. And so that project, the construction portion of that is all funded by them, except for we have some utility mains that have to be relocated. As far as water, sewer, and gas, it doesn't include that part. That's our responsibility, but they are paying for the construction of that road, the signal, the work on Canesville Road. So we're very excited about that.
You're very thankful for that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Let me toot the city's home a little bit there, because originally it was going to be about $1 million of our money. And we work with TDOT, I'd work with those folks, and they figured a way to work with us to pay for all of it. And I think it says something about us at 11 and how we work with TDOT folks, because originally it was we had $900,000 in our budget for that project. It's not going to cost 11 taxpayers anything.
We're about to run out of time, but you got another project and talk about quickly.
So there's one that it's a sidewalk project actually out in front of Kroger's and Kmart. There's a gap there in our sidewalk network. TDOT's actually doing that project also, and so they bid that out in December. There's a completion date of September of this year for that one, so that it's going to close that gap on both sides of the road there. So we're excited about seeing that one get
well,
addressed.
say the least. You're not sitting around doing nothing.
No,
It
we
looks
could
like
talk for another hour or two if you wanted
busy.
to. Yeah.
Well, we've just got so much time allotted, and we've about used it up this morning. But I think time has flown for this 20 minutes. But Regina, appreciate you being here and learning about this. And Jeff, thank you for
Yes, sir.
For coming out and for all you do for us. You've been doing this for a long time, and
We enjoy it, though.
well, that's good.
It's home,
We'll see you next month or whomever you send. How's that?
We'll be back.
All right, great. That is part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:29. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and that regular oil change, only $24.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, $16.73 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's still a mess here on 65 southbound in Brentwood here at OHB as they try to mop up this multi-vehicle crash. Talk about wrong place, wrong time. It's a good thing it wasn't over the northbound lanes. It'd really be backed up all the way into Murray County by now. Again, 65 south here in Brentwood at OHB is crazy slow due to this earlier accident. Hey, check out the Andre Chicken Sandwich now available at Princess Hot Chicken, 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Defensive drivers pay attention to their surroundings. They take precaution to keep their passengers and others on the road safe. We can all be defensive drivers during COVID-19 pandemic. Today, I ask you to take the necessary precautions to keep yourselves and others safe from COVID-19. Wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask, stay at home when you're sick. Living a cautious life doesn't mean that you live in fear. It just means that you care for others. Wilson County cares. This has been a public service announcement from the Wilson County Mayor's Office.
It's a new year and new things at Bates Ford. Come check out our all-new 2021 Ford Bronco Sport, the new 21 F-150 on the sales side. On the service side, we've got the Works Vehicle Package, which includes an oil change and a tire rotation. Or you can visit us on the web at www.tonybatesford.com. That's Bates Ford, 1673 West Main, the dealer that will trade for anything that don't eat.
This morning we may have a few lingering rain showers, but we do dry out by this afternoon. Highs today will climb into the low 50s. On Friday we do get more sunshine in the forecast, with temperatures topping out in the upper 40s. For Saturday, skies will be mostly sunny. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's Look at Your Forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Hey, thanks for joining us and welcome to part two of Coleman and Company here on a Thursday morning. We're ready to talk about the Pavilion Senior Living here in Lebanon. It's a wonderful facility. It's a wonderful neighborhood.
Community.
It's a wonderful community. Heather Sadler is on the phone too. She's the marketing director and maybe some other things. But Heather, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to hear from you. We always
Good.
like to find out what's going on, and you really know because you're right there and taking care of things.
I feel like I'm right in the middle of it all.
Are you still interim
Sometimes I
administrator?
calm in the middle of it, but yeah. Everything's going good. We got our COVID vaccine clinic last week. So we got one of two, and our second one's coming. And then we've actually scheduled a third on out where we had some employees or some new residents, so they'll start their first when everybody's getting their second. And then we have the third one set. So we went ahead and set that up so we had the opportunity to make sure everybody got the full dose of vaccination.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
Excited. We feel like maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're as hopeful as ever. So.
Well, what is
ready
your
to,
what are your requirements? What are you doing right now as far as the social distancing? Is there any visitation, and if so, what? Tell us a little bit about that.
So we are doing we are doing indoor visitations. They're 6 feet apart, and we've got a visitation room with basically a plexiglass wall, and we are doing those. Those are we did them scheduled, and they have to be over 18, and they have to be screened, mask and come in. But at least they can come in and see them. Then we're still doing virtual visits on the iPad, and we're doing porch visits as the weather allows us to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we're slowly introducing, like I said, indoor visits, and hopefully those regulations can change soon. But right now we're just trying to keep everybody safe.
Right. Well,
our residents are allowed to do some activities. We don't have an outbreak in our building, so we're doing them 6 feet apart. We have our dining room. It kind of looks like a jigsaw puzzle, so we could get creative to let everybody come into the dining room. So we've spread out and added tables, and like I said, it's a jigsaw puzzle, but it allows them to come out and have their meals out of their room, which is so nice.
Well, let me ask you this: Are you encouraging visitation? I mean, I know you're accepting it, and I just wonder. There are some people who probably really thrive on having visitation from family and friends, and I just wondered: do you really encourage it, or are you just sort of allowing it? If I can ask it that way.
Well, I'll be honest. We're probably just allowing it because we just know how much if we get COVID in our community, how quickly it can spread, and then also, we have the most high risk residents,
right?
And we're just trying to keep everybody safe. So we're trying to do it as safely as possible. The Department of Health really encourages outdoor visits, but weather just does not allow that. So that's why we have had to create it indoor, which we followed all of their guidelines to do that. One of the worst things is being 6 feet apart. If you can't hear, it's really hard. We have purchased an EverSound equipment, so it's actually where you can put on headphones and each one can hear. So we can do that so they can hear, because that's just screaming through a plexiglass is pretty hard. We know how hard it is just to order food sometimes. Can you imagine being a senior and you can't hear and you got masks and everything. So that's a really cool system that we purchased, so they can actually hear.
Well, that's good to know. We usually talk about vacancies. You looking for anybody right now?
Well, I've got a wait list started on our memory care unit, and then I have a couple 1-bedrooms that are open right now in our assisted living. But we're getting pretty full, so that's a good place to be. But it just proves what I've said during the whole pandemic is senior living and the care we provide is needed still during a pandemic, and they need assistance no matter what. So we have to get creative and get and be as safe as we can to provide those services to our seniors.
All right. We haven't mentioned your location until now, but I'm going to 1409 Medical Center Drive, but it's just really a block past Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. If you were going to the emergency room, you just go one block further, take a left, you'll find the pavilion down there on the right. And you can call Heather, 615-444-5556. That's an easy phone number to remember. And, of course, your website. A lot of people keep up with you there, and I guess on Facebook, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Try to post as much
www.thepavilion
as we can.
www.thepavilionseniorliving.com. So we got about a minute. Anything else you want to tell us before you go this morning?
I think that's all I have today. We're
Well, tell me about your little
rocking
girls.
and rolling.
Your little girls.
Well, they are doing good. Sophie brought us home a book last night from school, and she read the whole book without our assistance. And I'm gonna tell you, finally hearing them read a whole book is pretty cool.
That is great. That
so,
is great. Tell her I said congratulations. So will you do that?
I will.
Okay.
She was so excited. So,
I'll bet.
and then she said, she said, Savvy can't read yet.
All right. Well, thanks.
I said, no, but she's learning. She'll learn. So.
Thanks for your update this morning. We'll do it again next Thursday. Thank you.
Talk to you next Thursday.
All right. Heather Sadler Gallagher. She is the interim administrator and the marketing director for the Pavilion Senior Living here in Lebanon. We're 21 minutes. We're 21 minutes before the hour. I want to welcome Wayne Oakley this morning. I would call him Mr. Softball, but I don't know. He may want to tell us about. I think we need to form a committee of Wayne and maybe Mike Jennings and Larry Tomlinson, and I'm not sure what other UT fans to get things straightened out in Knoxville. Wayne, do you accept?
I nominate Larry and Mike.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm glad I wasn't an employee in Knoxville this week.
That's been a tough time, and I know it. Now us Vandy fans can laugh a little bit, but not too hard because sometimes the shoe drops the other way, you know. But this is not something you wish on anybody, and I don't know what kind of violations there have been, but evidently there's something happened that shouldn't have, and it's a hard time to go through, isn't it?
It is, and I mean it's going to get harder, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well,
you hope some of the things you're hearing it's just you think that can't happen, but hey, it's 2021 and who knows, right?
Yeah. Well, but you're not only looking for a head football coach and his assistants and so on. I mean, but you're looking for an athletic director.
Got to find the AD first. And Coleman, I've said this to lots of people. You know, you look at Pat Summitt and you look at the abundance of various personnel that could come in and taken that job over, both when Holly Warlick had it and now when Kelly Harper has it. But you look at Tennessee football, there's not many head coaches on the former coaching tree. And to me, that's what's so disappointing is we need somebody with Tennessee ties, Tennessee values. And I don't know who that person is.
Peyton Manning?
Well, I don't. Peyton's not going to come be a head coach. You know that. I mean,
I've seen some suggestions on Facebook, but no, if I had his money, why would I want to be have all the problems and try to resurrect a football program?
Exactly. Yes.
Hey, we need to talk about girls softball. You are, I guess, still president of Lebanon Girls Softball. Vice president. Who's your president?
Amanda Lester.
Okay, but you've been in this so long, and you
over
have
10 years.
A couple of girls, and I think being a good father and wanting your girls to participate in athletics if they wanted to, and one of yours I think's been pretty much a star player, done well. But
she's a sophomore now, Coleman.
That precipitated you into getting involved in the softball association and pretty much running it, to be honest about it. And you've come out here for several years now and tell us about it. And as the season begins to open and teams begin to form and so on, of course. The last year was an unusual one. I don't what did you wind up doing? You played a little softball.
We played a lot of softball.
Okay.
We had what I call a spring, summer, fall season. You know, normally we have a spring and a fall season, two different seasons. Yeah. But we rode our spring, it went into summer, and then it went slightly into fall. We had a full, a typical full spring season. We had around 230 participants, which was down from around 275 that we typically have. So we were surprised that we had that number of people to continue to play, and we had some people sign up who had not registered originally. But we played from July into the first week of September. In Coleman, we had 84 84 games that were rescheduled.
Wow.
Because we did not have lights, so we would start at 5:30. And the majority of our games were called because of lightning. All those thunderstorms that came in July and August at 5 o'clock, a lot of them rolled across Sumner County or down through Rutherford County. It wouldn't rain at our park, but because the lightning was so close, we had to delay. You had to wait 30 minutes after a lightning strike. Well, at 5:30, you can only get one set of games in if you wait very long. And so we had 84 games that we had to reschedule. Some of those are rescheduled games. And out of all the games we had scheduled, we only missed 2 games of our regular season.
That's good.
Yes, it really was.
That's good for anybody.
It was. And our participants, our families, our park was packed.
Yeah.
It was packed. And we made it through. I think there was a couple people who signed up to play who had tested positive or something, and they decided not to play. And then during the season, we had a report of 1 or 2 people that's family, not the player, not anybody in their family, but they had to be quarantined.
Mm-hmm.
And we are so fortunate and so blessed that we didn't have more, and we was able to get a full season in because those young ladies needed it.
Well, were you able to have a concession stand?
We had a full concession stand.
So you reaped the benefits of that.
Yes, we did.
Well,
yes, we did.
And you managed to do all that in spite of the quarantine and, the regulations, the stipulations involved.
Yes, and I want to thank all of our players, our parents, our board members, our concession workers, everybody who pitched in, William Porter and Dusty Jones and their staff, and doing everything that they could. So.
Well, we need to go to a break here. You're about to get started this year.
We got registration open, yes, at LebanonGirlsSoftball.com.
All right. And so you register online.
Register online,
all right.
yes.
Well, we'll get details about that when we come back. Let's take a break here. Wayne Oakley's with us. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota and Rental Exmark. Large inventory of Exmark mowers for homeowners and commercial users. #1 selling brand, bought 2-to-1 over any other commercial mower brand. 1506 West Main. Now in traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still extremely slow trying to get down into Brentwood on 65 southbound. This is usually where it's backed up in the afternoons, not morning time like this. Again, a crash loaded down 65 southbound just past OHB there in Brentwood. Williamson County traffic's not only slow, it's got it backed up all the way to Harding Place on 65 southbound. Again, south of town trying to get down into Brentwood. 40 East is picked up coming in from Dixon County. Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies has Sleeping with the Sharks March 27th. I know. Check it out at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
I do a lot of thinking while I'm driving. I think about my kids, my grandkids, and my insurance business. When's the last time you thought about having your insurance program reviewed? This is John Bryan with THW Insurance. We're an independent, trusted choice insurance agency representing several top-rated insurance companies like Westfield Insurance Company. Give me a call at 615-443-3849 for a no-obligation review of your current insurance plan. THW Insurance Services, serving Lebanon and Wilson County for decades.
Coleman and Company, welcome to our program, our final segment here for a Thursday morning. Wayne Oakley is with us. Wayne is now Vice President of Lebanon Girls Softball Association. I guess their chief spokesperson, too.
Coleman, I stay on the board so I can come out here once a year because somebody's got to top Chris Dowell's ratings.
Funny you mentioned him. Has he been involved with you at all?
Chris has not. No.
Probably has no reason to, really.
No. Some other of the fire department have. They've coached.
Well, he's got boys, I think.
He does,
but
yes.
Anyway, back to
he can't coach girls. He, okay. It's a little above his pay grade.
All right. But you are getting started, and you said you register online. And
yes.
what's the website?
LebanonGirlsSoftball.com. The girls is plural.
All right.
And if you go to the City of Lebanon's recreation page, they have links on there for us as well. So.
Well, now are they pretty accustomed? You've been doing this for a while.
Yes. Well, that's why I got on the position they created when I got on the board was to create a website and so that was over 10 years ago, and we have since transitioned to only online registration. We used to have a couple in-person registration days, but it got to where we was only getting like 5 or 6 people.
Okay, now, if somebody hasn't played before, how do they choose it? Who decides what team they're going to play for? How you do all that?
We have 5 age divisions. We have our Pee Wee, which is first-time 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and if they turn 3 by June the 1st of this year, they can play.
Okay.
Then we have 6 and under, 8 and under, and those are all coach pitch leagues. Then our 10 and under and 14 and under are player pitch leagues. We have 2 evaluation days for every age group except Pee Wee. So that way the coaches can kind of get an idea of the player's ability. Because I'm telling you, even being up there so long, when I was coaching, when you get down to the last 10, 15 players, you wouldn't know who they were. And I've got a funny story. I'll try to tell it real quick. There's one season, there was a player on there, and their parents' phone number had a different area code. I didn't know what it was. So I said, well, I'll take the kid from California because they play good softball in California. And all the other coaches, wait a minute, you didn't tell us you was from California. I said, well, hey, you could look up the area code. The area code was from Virginia. So, I mean, that's what it gets to sometimes. But the evaluations are not tryouts. It's purely a time for the players to come, show their abilities. In the 2 older age groups, we evaluate pitchers and catchers. We will assign, most of the time, we assign the pitchers and catchers so that every team tries to have a quality pitcher and catcher to make it fair across the board.
Uh-huh.
As far as the other players, then after the evaluations, we have a draft where the coaches come and they draft their players. The coaches are allowed, obviously, to lock in their own daughter, or if they have a granddaughter playing, and one more player that may be their assistant coach. But other than that, everybody is picked in the player draft.
So this has worked really well for you, hasn't it?
It has worked great. Yes.
How many teams altogether do you?
We usually have somewhere around 25 teams total. For 3 fields, that's all we can manage. And Mayor Bell, we need some more fields.
All right, let me go back to the tornado last year. Is all the repair work been done? Are the fields about ready? Or?
The fields have been ready. Obviously, we played on them last year. And the field, I was up there last week. The fields look awesome. They're ready. They have the lights up now. I believe they're operational. I haven't seen them in operation, but I believe they're operational. What is not done is all the landscape, I call it landscape paving work that needs to be done, where they've brought heavy machinery in to repair or replace or remove what was there. So, but I mean, our park, our fields, we got new backstops, we got new fencing. They repainted, they replaced the siding on the top half of our clubhouse. They've repainted it. All we lack is getting our logo repainted on there. So, I mean, when they get all the landscape and the other work done, it's going to look like a new ballpark. We even have new scoreboards with timers on them.
Well, you can't feel too much like a stepchild or something because it's the girls and the boys get a lot for them, but it looks like we're doing quite a bit for girls here.
We did, and unfortunately, it took an act of Mother Nature to do that, and it really affected our season. But with the coronavirus, that was kind of a secondary issue.
Well, now as you prepare for this year, you're hoping, I'm sure, to be a little bit more like 2 years ago and before, rather than last year in a drawn out summer and all
That's
this.
Correct.
But even so, you've got a pretty good track to run on from previous time, and I take it you want to just continue the good work that's been going on.
Exactly. Our plan is to go back to a separate spring and fall season like we've had in the past, and our registration is for spring 2021. And you go there, there's a register on the center of the page. There's an image that says click for registration, or up in the upper corner, right corner, that you can click there. And I will say, I like to add that through January the 31st, we have an early bird discount this year. This first time we've done this, of $10. So we're giving you a $10 discount on the registration fee if you register by January 31st.
All right, what is registration fee?
It's the 10s, 8s, 8U, 10U, and 14U is $100. The 6U is $80. I'm sorry, $90, and Pee Wee is $40, I believe it is.
Right. But all of those $10 off?
$10 off each player. Each player, yes. And no matter what age division.
Okay. So through January.
And let me add, we for your $100, you are going to get a jersey, and this year we're going to full sublimated jerseys. That means the fabric is actually dyed. It's not a silk screen. It's not a press-on number. The colors are going to be there forever. And I mean, you really have to be a terrible washing machine operator to mess these jerseys up. Huh. And they don't. The dye doesn't come out of them and things of that nature. So you get pants, a jersey, and a belt for the 8s, 10s, and 14s. The 6Us get shorts and a jersey, and then the Pee Wees they'll get a jersey only. Yeah. And they compare that with other places that give you a cotton T-shirt. It's a great, and the number of games that we play, and some of the other benefits that we have.
Well, now, no doubt you depend on the community to help you some. Now, I don't think there's any admission charge to see the games.
No admission.
But you are encouraged to participate at the concession stand.
Yes, sir. And we have the best concession in Lebanon.
But you also, I'm taking it, you have outfield signs, you have team sponsors. There's several ways for a business to participate financially to help you.
Yes, we have team and league sponsors. The team sponsor has their logo, their company logo or whatever on the jersey. They'll get a team photo at the end of the year for free. They get recognition on our website. We'll have a little banner there. Usually you can click on that. You can go straight to their website. You get a banner on a field. If you want to be on all 3 fields, you can purchase additional banners if you like to do that. And I am going to encourage every realtor in Wilson County. We all know that realtors are the number one that has not suffered through this past year. So I'm challenging all realtors in Wilson County to not only be at LGSA, but to be at every other rec field and middle schools, high schools. You should be out there. You should have a banner out there, and it should not be costing you anything. And Judy Cox and Medina Hemmetoler, I'm coming for you first.
The realty business has been good here for some time, last year included. And,
yes, it has.
Well, I hope they will.
If you didn't make money in 2020 as a realtor, you might look for something else, because when it turns south, you're going to be in trouble.
Well, what about you architects? You go after some of them?
Oh, well, I'm on all 3 fields. So I of course, as you know, I coach a travel softball team for my oldest. She's aged out of the league. She's a sophomore, and at Friendship. But I sponsor even players that don't play for me anymore that have played travel. I will sponsor for them. So yes, I'm out and about.
Well, I
yes.
didn't mean just you. There are a few others. You go after them too.
Well,
are they your friends?
They are. Yes, they are my friends. But I hadn't got them to loosen their wallets yet. So.
Well, that's a challenge, I guess. But if somebody maybe hearing this or would just like to be a part of it, I mean, I don't guess you can spend a little or a lot, really.
Yes.
And I'd say invest a little or a lot, because you are investing in the youth. You really are.
And we host 2 tournaments a year also, Coleman, a minimum of 2, sometimes 3. And those banners are up for spring, fall, and for those tournaments as well. So there is recognition out there.
Okay, how does somebody, best way to contact you?
You can contact me. My number is 615-305-4590, or shoot us an email at LebanonGirlsSoftball@gmail.com.
All right. You've seen you've seen a lot go through in the 10 years or so you've been involved with this. But have we had some exceptional players who maybe went on and played in high school or college? Or?
Yes, we have. Yes, there have been. Kendall Kelsch is one that I can think of. Probably the most recent that went and played college ball. There's some others that will be that way. There's an exceptional crop of players in my daughter's birth year. Back when she was at Coast Ferry Elementary, we could have taken the players just out of Coast Ferry and went and had a B+, A- travel team just out of them.
Yeah. Well, that lends me to do something. I know Babe Ruth is no more for the boys, 13, 14, 15. That's gone by the wayside, and a lot of that has to do with travel teams that
Yes.
you didn't have enough. There's so many involved in that, not enough others interested. Is that a problem for your girls softball?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. We hear this a lot. Well, there's teams at LGSA that are nothing but a travel team. That is nothing further from the truth. Are there teams that have travel teams on? Yes. What we do not allow teams to come in and stack. If I'm coaching a team and I have my travel team up there, and matter of fact, this happened when I was there. I had to give up players over 4 teams because I had 3 of my parents that were coaching other teams in the league. So we would have 2, maybe a 3rd travel player on our team. But typically what happens is they'll play 6th and 8s. And then once you get into 10-year-olds, you'll see a mix of travel and rec ball players. And then after that, it really becomes more of a rec player that's playing there, except for pitchers and catchers. Because lots of times players are wanting to come in and if they're trying to develop as a pitcher, they'll come in to get additional pitching time that they may not get with their travel team because they're not one of the top 2 or 3 pitchers.
Okay, but you have room for more advertisers. There's
Yes,
a
sir.
lot of different ways you can participate if you're
Yes.
a business. You
We'll
can
come up-
sponsor a team. You'll figure out a way.
Yes, I had a call from somebody the other day, and we are looking for a different way for them to sponsor. Yes.
All right, and anybody that's going to sign up before the end of January. You save $10.
$10 February the 1st. It goes to the full price. We will take registration through February the 24th, I believe, is the final date.
Okay, and you register online at
LebanonGirlsSoftball.com.
All right. Wayne Oakley, thanks for being with us today. We've covered a lot of ground here. Hope you have another good season.
Thank you, Coleman.
That is it for a Thursday. Join us tomorrow for the Friday edition. Till then, I wish you a tremendous day.